Not even half an hour after Hull City complete a 1-0 win over Stockport County in pre-season, more transfer news has been upon us as Abdush has completed his loan move away from Hull City to Antalyaspor over in Turkey. Hello there and welcome back to the HullCityFanCentral YouTube channel, where today we're going through the big transfer news of today, being Hull City's new loan out of Abdush goes out on loan yet again for the Tigers, as it just seems like Hull City don't really want to sell him. Of course, Antalyaspor, I think we're under a transfer embargo or fee restriction similar to how Hull City are at the moment. I think they've paid off all of their debts, so I'm not really sure on their situation at the moment. But that may be the reason why Ömür isn't able to sign permanently for them. It may be a case, and hopefully is, that the loan deal then materialises into a buy option, or the Ömür gets bought at the end of the season. Or he might be out of contract. We'll find out in a second. But certainly, Ömür has kind of dwindled out of Hull City favouring. Went out on loan second half of last season after not really impressing the first half, or maybe in the entirety of the loan out last season he went out on loan. No, he was at first half he was at Hull, and the second half of the season now it was out on loan. And many fans were expecting a permanent transfer away from the MKM Stadium for Abdush this pre-season, this transfer window, but it hasn't happened. Ömür has instead gone out on loan to Antalyaspor. As I said, it's mainly due to the fact, I presume, because Antalyaspor have their own financial troubles themselves. Ömür stayed in Turkey. He wants to move to a Turkish club, and that's pretty much the only sort of move that he could facilitate. It's the only avenue that I sort of see it. There was some other clubs interested in Ömür, so it's an interesting one there. They didn't go to another club that maybe could have paid something for him, or whether this one maybe has a bit more guaranteed money down the line. But let's see what Hull City had to say on this one. I'll give some more thoughts and views on this one. Turkish attacking midfielder Abdush has completed a season-long loan move to Super League side Antalyaspor. The 26-year-old moved to the MKM Stadium from his hometown club Trabzonspor in February of 2024. He produced 2 assists in 16 appearances during City's 2023-24 playoff chasing campaign. The Turkish international featured 21 times last season, providing 1 assist before returning to his homeland in February for a loan spell with Kayakan Rizespor, for whom he made 7 appearances. Antalyaspor spent the last decade in Turkey's top tier, but only survived relegation by 1 place in last season 2024-25, finishing 7 points clear of the drop zone in 15th place. We wish Abdush the best of luck for his time back in Turkey. So yeah, it goes back to Turkey. We all saw it coming. He wasn't really part of Hull City's plans this pre-season. He hasn't actually returned back to England, I don't believe, since his loan ended at Rizespor last season. He was out there, played, I think, a testimonial match in Turkey. He's had his pre-season going in Turkey. I mean, he's already played a pre-season friendly for Antalyaspor before being announced by either club that he's made the permanent or the loan move. It's ended up being a loan move out to Turkey for Abdush, but he's already made an appearance. That was the other day. So we've all seen this coming. We've known it's been Antalyaspor for a while. So what has this impacted upon Hull City? Well, I mean, I say this is, for me, half an hour after the Stockport game has concluded, and that second half was fantastic from City. And to be honest, I don't see where Abdush would have fitted into this City squad. Yes, he maybe would have provided a bit of a different option off the bench, but I don't know where he would fit in under Sergei Akievich. Maybe is the best case scenario that he is going out. Yes, it would have been best case scenario to get some money from him. Of course, the financial situation at the moment kind of deems that Hull City maybe do need some money into the back engine. And also to get him permanently off the wage books would be a good thing as well, because is he going to play for Hull City upcoming this season? Well, obviously not. He's out on loan. Is he going to play for them upcoming next season beyond that, until his deal expires, which I'm not sure when that deal expires. I presume that he's still got another year on it after this season. So whether Hull City have sort of made this a loan with the option to buy, 100% sure. We'll know about this in due course. And of course, I'll keep it to date once we know about these information, little side bits. But we presume that this loan is materialising into some sort of a further sell-on, because if not, it just seems a little bit silly, because He's, of course, went out on loan second half of last season. He, of course, wants to move back to Turkey. Hull City don't really have him in his plan, and any plans upcoming. So why would he still be on the books almost at Hull City? Yes, it's a loan away, but he's still on Hull City's books. It's a very, very interesting case with Abdush. We've known he's going. Why not make it a permanent move away? That's what we all presumed when we found out that Abdush was moving away from the MKM Stadium. His fill-in, though, at Hull City, well, of course, Hull City are in the realm still for a couple of midfield options. That's kind of what we kind of saw in this game. Midfield options maybe would be best. Matt Crooks played a perfect game, so I mean, he's sort of taking over Abdush's role. Palmer had a few good moments in this game, and some of the young lads as well played a bit better than what we've seen Ömür do in his time at Hull City. Of course, is it over for Abdush at Hull City? Most likely. Is it a chance where, I mean, we could be having this conversation in one year's time and we're coming to pre-season of 2026-27 season and Abdush is a big role of the squad? It could possibly happen. Do I think that will happen? No. Do I think Abdush has played his last game for Hull City? Yes. I don't think that we will see Abdush in a City shirt again. Hopefully, though, that this loan move does facilitate a permanent move away and this loan move does go well for him. That's kind of what we want from it, because if he has a good loan move out in Turkey, well, more eyes are going to be drawn to him and also a bit more cash can be brought into Hull City. Of course, with this as well, the appeal process might be successful by 1 year's time. And by that point, Hull City can also get some more money for Abdush. Because at the moment, we're not in a position where we can go, actually, can you give us some more because that's how much he's worth? No, we're in a situation where we've seen with the transfers out so far, McLaughlin and Jones, where maybe they've gone a little bit under market value because of the current situation with the fee restriction. Where in a year's time, maybe them fee restrictions have been lifted and Ömür can go for a bit more of a higher value and maybe recuperate some of that money that we probably will lose on Ömür, because we bought him for quite a considerable bit, I believe, from Trabzonspor. Or it might be in a free transfer. I'm not sure on that one, but certainly we have lost some money on Ömür through his wages and all sorts of stuff like that. His wages aren't anything too small. They're of course going to be a bit of a bigger one in when he moved, a 26-year-old coming into his prime, moving away from Turkey over to England, and coming into a side that were looking to try and get playoffs and promotion during that season. So yeah, Ömür, maybe one off the books. Hasn't happened yet, but I think it is going to happen down the line. So of course, stay tuned on that here on the HullCityFanCentral YouTube channel. And of course, I'll keep you updated with everything Hull City as pre-season progresses on. Hull City made it 4 wins on the bounce under Sergei Akirovic. And this upcoming week's going to be a very interesting one as Hull City have 2 more pre-season friendlies and plenty more transfers both in and out for Hull City. Some more waiting to be announced and some more waiting to come in to be announced. So stay tuned on the channel by liking and subscribing to keep up to date on all of that. Plus so much more about Hull City. So I'll see you in the next video. Up the Tigers!